How y'all doing today? Thank you for watching this episode of Season Talk. And so today our topic is going to be about dating and do you really know who you are? And so I am Shirley, and my guest for today again is Diamond. And
Hello.
thank you again, Diamond, for showing up again.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yes, and so as we begin to talk about dating and do you know who you really are? I'm gonna start us off with a little season.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for the season.
This season, I'm learning I can't move in relationships where uncertainty is louder than clarity. Dating starts with knowing who you are, what you need, and what you refuse to tolerate. Mm.
Yeah.
When you live in survival mode, you learn to accept anything. But when you grow, you start requiring alignment. What you think about that intro?
I love that. I love that. And the key word that stuck out to me was alignment.
Alignment,
For
right?
sure.
Right.
Because we are all on our own paths and journeys. And whatever is aligned for our journey will be aligned for our journey. You know how, like, when we was younger,
Okay.
you try to put, like, the blocks together.
Right.
And the square is never going to go with the triangle because they're not meant
Okay.
to align.
Absolutely.
That's what I just thought of. So, yes, alignment.
Good analogy. I like that.
My brain just started
Turning.
It did. It did.
I'm glad.
Turning.
So let's go ahead and jump right into it with our first question.
Yes.
How do you know when uncertainty is speaking louder than clarity in a relationship? Now, a couple of tools that we can use when we say that, well, when we think about that question: intuition,
Yeah.
patterns,
Yeah.
the difference between confusion and discernment.
Yeah.
And I think to get to a place where, let's start off with discernment. I was talking to one of my mentors a couple days ago, and we were talking about discernment and what did she call it? Being hyper vigilance.
Mm. Wow. Mm.
And she was like, when you had, because of the trauma that you experienced in childhood,
Yes.
you are constantly in survival mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because you're constantly in survival mode, it's like you go into atmospheres sometimes and you're scanning to look for something that may,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say,
You waiting
target,
for something to happen.
yeah, or
Yeah.
what we say, trigger,
Right.
and as I was explaining to her a situation that I had, that I was a little challenged with, that's what she pointed out to me,
Okay.
and how to begin to take me out of it and just let that person be them.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, if they been that way towards you, it's not just about you, it's who they are.
That's just them. Yeah.
And when she's broke it down like that,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
it really been helping me, to move past things that, can trigger. People, we have triggers. We have, especially when you come from, a place where your emotions has been all over the place all the time, and you're now applying, self awareness and trying to get clarity for your life and bringing wisdom down into your life.
Yeah.
It's a job every day because this, I say it all the time, the battlefield of the mind, what we were talking about before, we think thousands of thoughts.
Right. Right.
Them thoughts were like, and you have to, and it brings me down what the Word of God says, casting down every imagination, every high thing that exalts itself against the true knowledge of God, and then you have to bring every thought to obedience through Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you have to do the work where when the thought comes in your mind, you really have to. I say that scripture right there. Capture that thought,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got to self-aware. Why am I thinking that?
Yeah.
Because sometimes, to be honest, some people come in the room and I'm looking at them like, or why am I judging them?
Or especially if it's just a constant thought. of something, and not as
Mhm.
far as just judging people, but something that's constantly on your mind as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you want to piggyback on that a little bit? Just
Yeah.
bring it back to you. How do you know when uncertainty is speaking louder than clarity in a relationship? We talked about intuition,
hmm
patterns, the difference between confusion and discernment.
So I'm gonna talk about the discernment last because I just read a post this morning, and if you're okay with me reading the
I
post
don't
after
care.
a while,
Yeah.
I will. But the uncertainty part,
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes in relationships and not just male, female, whatever, you can tell based off of what you said their patterns. I
Mhm.
let you slide one time, you do something, okay, maybe that was a mistake. But once you do something a second time, it's no longer a mistake. This is something that you probably have a pattern of doing, and you may
Mhm.
unintentionally even know that you're doing that. So I look at a lot of patterns with people, and then also I look at how they move outside of the relationship, just in their life. How is your discipline? You say you're a Christian, you say you believe in God, but
Mhm.
when I talk about God, you get a little uncomfortable, or you don't really seem to understand what I'm saying, and it seems as if okay, I hear what you're saying, but your actions. I look at a lot of people's actions,
Mhm.
and that's how I separate the two between uncertainty and that's just how this person is,
Mhm.
based off of their actions, their patterns, and the things that they say out their mouth in times of anger or in times of disagreement.
Anger. Yeah.
Um, but the discernment thing, so like I was saying, I read a post this morning, which I don't think that was a coincidence.
Mhm.
It basically was saying, don't confuse discernment with it had a long list of things. It was saying, don't confuse discernment with insecurity. Don't
Mhm.
confuse discernment with, let me see, my sister actually just shared it.
Mhm.
That's how you know I be on her page because she,
Hold on while she
yeah.
finds the
Oh, here
post.
it's right here.
Okay.
That's not discernment, it's trauma. That's not discernment, it's brokenness. That's not discernment, it's insecurity.
Mm.
That's not discernment, it's fear. Your lens might be too fragmented to see the true picture in front of you. Heal so that you can stop seeing people through the comfort of your own
Yes.
wounds.
Yes.
Ask yourself, where is this really coming from?
Yes.
God is love. He won't lead you to find fault in everybody. There is someone who wants you to discern yourself into loneliness, though. Don't let them win. Heal.
Mm. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Thank you
Yes.
for that
Yes.
season.
And that was from Kamora Lattimore.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It's just so crazy because um, I did a little post,
Mm.
and in my post I talked about how emotions can make you delusional.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's so crazy because when you were talking about your dating, when is a good cutoff? When do you cut somebody off? Let's talk about that. When do you cut them off? And I said that to say because coming from a place of just being my emotions wasn't balanced, I
Mm-hmm.
stayed in something because
Yeah.
emotions make you delusional. They make you stay stuck. They
Yes.
make you stay in situations. So if you ignore those red
Mm-hmm.
flags, then you end up being with somebody 2 years, five
Harming
years,
yourself.
9 years.
Yeah.
All of that turmoil.
When is the end of all end? And I think it depends on the person, and it depends on your confidence in yourself. It depends on how you were raised as well. I think there's a
Absolutely.
lot of different factors. For myself, it's funny because my friends. I just had a friend tell me the other day. She was like, "You are my spirit animal," because I'm a no nonsense type of person.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it depends on the situations because sometimes I don't give people a chance. Sometimes after a while, I'm like, all right, that's it.
Now,
That's
when you're not giving them, not to cut you off, when
yeah,
you're not giving them a chance, that's based off what you've been through, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Once I already start seeing the earlier signs, and again, I'm only 25, so I got a long way to go of things to experience and
25.
witness. Yeah, I'm a
Oof.
young blood, but but no, I got a lot of things to, but just from the things that I have already experienced, and not just me personally, but what I've seen in other people or in my
Mhm.
family, I'm kind of like, nope, nah, let me stop this right here because I already can kind of see where this is going. But then I think I want God to forgive me for things. So I need to also be forgiven to people as well. We're human, and that's where I have that personal battle because I'm like, sometimes it doesn't always have to just be clean, cut off. You done made me mad. That's it. I don't want to deal with you anymore. So now I'm trying to give people a little bit more grace because just as much grace as I want God to give me and I want other people to give me, I also have to do that.
So now I got something for you. You know,
Yes.
I got something for you, right?
Yes.
So the Bible tells us, what he said, forgive, what, 77 times? You got to
Yeah.
constantly forgive,
That's
right?
a lot of forgiving.
So,
That's a lot of forgiving.
so,
77?
hmm
Jesus.
so when we talk about forgiveness and then cutting them off, right? And I'm wrestling with this now. How do we keep people, I guess, in your space? Because some people you can't get rid of.
No.
Like family.
Yeah.
They ain't going
I mean,
nowhere. No, but
that
I'm
was my aunt. By blood.
But the word of God,
I know.
because you know what killed me when people say, I'll forgive you, but I won't forget.
Right. So you really not forgiving.
And it's that word but. I'll forgive you, but.
It just erased everything you just said.
There's no but.
Yeah.
You either forgive or you don't. And I'm going to have to be so transparent and so honest. I wrestle with that so much.
Yeah.
Because I know that I forgive, but it's like, if I truly forgave, then why won't I guess, be in that person's space or communicate with them? Have we truly forgave? But I'm also learning that you can forgive and still love from a genuine heart.
Right.
It's just that, no, we're not doing that. No, I'm not going there. No, I'm not going to let you in that door. But I still forgive you because now I have to protect myself.
Yeah.
Especially when, like we said, patterns. You keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over.
I'm just a fool to keep letting you if I do.
Right.
But I think that also goes with, I'm a big fan of course, I can forgive you. I'm going to still love you, but I'm going to love you at a distance. And I never see anything wrong with that. Some people take it personal, but that is a boundary that has to be placed for myself because if I don't love you at a distance and I continue to keep letting you do the things that you do, that's doing a disservice to me. I don't really see anything wrong to go back to the relationship aspect. There's this card game that I was recently playing with a friend of mine, and one of the questions had asked, are you still in contact with your exes, or do you have how was your relationship with your exes? And I sat back and I thought on my relationship with my exes, and I'm like, honestly, there's no bad blood at all. Like I've never ended a relationship to where I'm like, I hate you. Hate is such a strong word.
Yes, it is.
I've never ended a relationship where we've had to put our hands on each other, anything like that. It's always been out of graciousness, I guess that's the word, right? I've always been graceful when leaving the relationship. But I've never completely shut that door on any of my exes because we're all still human. They know where it stands. The door is not all the way open, but it's cracked to a certain extent. If you're going through something and you know, okay, like, I know Diamond is close to God. I know she has a relationship with God. Maybe if I call her and just talk to her, I'm never the type to just be like, don't ever call me. Don't ever text me. I don't ever want to hear from you. If you do something really crazy, then yes. But I've never ended a relationship like that. And I was explaining that to my friend. And they were like, that's really mature of you because a lot of people are like, I don't care about them. I hate them. And I'm like, no, every single, which is not that many. But all three of my exes, We still follow each other on social media.
Mm-hmm.
We may not say things to each other, but there's not a negative relationship. It's respectful. We're two people that didn't align, and it's nothing wrong with that. We thought we aligned in that moment, and maybe we did at that point in time, but now we don't, and that's okay.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move on to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
She just gave y'all some season. Before expecting someone to show up for you, do you actually know what you want, what you need, and what you will not tolerate anymore? And this goes ties directly into self awareness and stepping out of survival mode.
Okay. Hmm.
So, what's survival mode to you? What do you think? I'll tell you what survival mode means to me, but what is survival mode to you?
I think survival mode to me is where I, what's that one? She's I'm fighting for my life. Really fighting for your life. Where like mentally up here, I think that's where survival mode really hits you the most. To where you're willing to do anything. You don't care. You don't care about other people's feelings. You don't care about your feelings. You don't care about the finances. You're just doing a lot of things out of what's a word I'm trying to say?
Trying to feel safe.
You
Trying
don't
to feel
have logic to
comfortable.
what
Yeah.
you're doing
Yeah.
because you're fighting for your life,
Yeah.
and you just want to make sure that you're okay,
Mhm.
and no one else, nothing else matters around you, but that sense of security, and that's one of Maslow's hierarchy. That's the major part of that sense of security.
Come on, nurse. Okay. No, my wheels was turning when you were speaking. Remind me of another conversation. I used to get so bothered when I'm just going to say it in church.
Mm-hmm.
We have people who, my sister in Christ will deliberately walk by you and not speak.
Mm.
And because of who I am, I had to come out of my la la land, like meaning like everybody's so happy here.
Yeah,
Everybody is not like me.
yeah, yeah.
I don't care what I'm going through. I can have the most worst day. When I was battling my depression with my mental health, I could just come out of the worst crying episode and will still come in. Hey, girl, how you doing? How you
Yep.
feeling today?
Yep.
I don't know. God just wired me this way for a long time.
Mhm.
I excuse me. I hated. I'm gonna say hated it, but I struggle with who I am because I know I'm just so gentle and so laughy and so giggling, like ha ha ha. That's just me. But what I found myself doing was that when they didn't acknowledge me or speak, I would go out my way for them to speak. In other words, like
Okay.
I would go to them and be like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Like force them.
And what I found out was that that's survival mode because I'm trying to be okay and feel safe. Meaning, like, what is it about me that makes them don't want to speak to me?
Mm.
But now that I've been working through that, like I had to learn, like with women too, a lot of times we got so much other stuff going on. It's
Yeah.
not even about you.
It's not personal.
It's not even about you.
It's not personal.
And that's what I had to learn when we talk about survival mode. And then, like we said, we're going to tie this into self awareness. Being self aware of what I'm feeling at that moment. Am I seeking for validation? Am I seeking for approval? Even for dating.
Yeah.
Am I going to allow this person to talk to me any kind of way, treat me any kind of way because of who they are or because of what they got or how they provide? Because at the end of the day, money can't love you.
No.
We need money to make the world go round. We need money to survive. But at the end of the day, if you see the most wealthiest people with money, stay stuck in relationships and
Yeah.
situations, survival
They
mode.
hate their life.
Yes, survival mode. because they want to be with that person that can,
Mhm.
or you want to be attached to this group or this
Mhm.
ministry because
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
X, Y, and Z. What I had to learn is that, and it's crazy because I wasn't even expecting this conversation to go this way, but what I had to learn was that even in ministry, we can't make excuses for behavior.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't. Because if we are in ministry and this person is your leader, and we're not perfect by far, but I'm talking about when you're deliberately
Yeah. And if the leader is
giving her,
like that, it taints the rest of the ministry because it
yes,
starts at the top.
at the top. And now I ain't always been perfect.
Mhm.
I will always say that. And when I say I haven't always been perfect, I was famous for matching energy.
Mhm.
Oh, you ain't speaking this, like fine. We ain't speaking that, when I was beginning to become self-aware, but then I learned that's not how you fight.
Right.
You fight by saying who you are.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna go out my way to speak to you, but in passing, hey girl, how you doing? Whether they speak back or not, that's not on you. That's
Yep.
on them. You want to chime in? You want to repeat the question again because I know
Yes,
I've been
please.
talking.
Yes.
Before expecting someone to show up for you, do you actually know what you want, what you need, and what you will not tolerate anymore?
When it comes to expecting someone to show up, sometimes I don't know what I want. I may think I know,
Mm-hmm.
or I'll find out through the process, like, oh, actually, this is what I needed. But honestly, I'm kind of stuck on this question because I don't know because I sometimes I really just don't know, and I find out throughout the process. But when it comes to tolerating things, I guess that goes back to what we were saying earlier with setting those boundaries, what I will tolerate and what I won't tolerate. But one
Mm-hmm.
thing that I do, I always let people know right in the beginning, whether that's a friendship with a man, family.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I will tolerate, and this is what I'm not gonna tolerate. I'll let you slide maybe once or twice, but once I start to see that pattern, we have to now have a conversation. Hey, okay, these are my standards. This is what
Mm-hmm.
I require. Because at the end of the day, this is my life. This is my story. And
Mm-hmm.
so, if there's something that you're doing that is affecting me in a negative way, and you're constantly doing that, I let you know once, might let you know twice, but it's never gonna get to a third time.
So let's jump back real quick.
Yes.
Discernment.
Mm-hmm.
Based off everything you just said, do you think sometimes we get that discernment or intuition before,
I
and
think
we
so.
still stay
Yeah.
and allow those things to take place?
I think so. I think because we try to give people the benefit of the doubt too.
Yes.
Um, but I feel like every situation so far that I've encountered where I've done that, I no longer speak to those people, and they no
Okay.
longer cross my path at all. You know how like you end up stop talking to somebody and y'all will see each other all the time or running into each other, and you no longer see them at all.
Mm-hmm.
That has happened to me a couple of times when I already knew getting into something like, yeah, this probably ain't gonna work out. But then I'll have my friends sometimes in the back of my head too, like playing devil's advocate. Well, Diamond, you always trying to cut somebody off right then and there. Maybe again back to that post. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's just your triggers and that's not your discernment, and try to give those people the benefit of the doubt. But I feel like sometimes God is already telling you, like, girl,
Mm.
no, no. And you keep trying to put that square and that triangle together, and they
Mm-hmm.
never end up going together. And you start tiring yourself out.
Mm-hmm. I want
It
to
gets
read something
tiring.
because
Yes.
I was tying this, and I'm glad you ended where you did because it ties into what I have in my notes here.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about people is that we overlook that God gave us discernment. And most of the time, because we want what we want, or because we don't want to hurt others, or you don't want to stay because the connection is based off of years versus quality,
Mm-hmm.
we will ignore what our body is telling
Yeah.
us. The scripture tells us we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We can make choices to what we want in our lives, but I'm sorry, but with that, but with those choices, it's a consequence.
And it could be a dangerous consequence too.
Yes.
Because if you, for example, and it's unfortunate situations, but when it comes to abuse and things like that, and
Yes.
you're constantly being with somebody, and you know that this
Mhm.
may not be the person that you are supposed to be with,
Mhm.
and clearly they don't love you if they're continuing to put their hands on you, or verbally abuse
Yes, I was
you,
ready to say that verbal
it can
abuse.
get
Yes.
dangerous. And
Yes.
you, I just recently lost a cousin to domestic violence, and
Yeah.
it was a constant thing, and unfortunately she lost her life, and he took his life, leaving them
Yeah.
with a 2-month-old baby.
Yeah. It's real. It's real. Um, let's move on to the next question.
Yeah.
Are the people you're dating or connecting with reciprocators or takers? And how quickly do you recognize the difference? This connects to the point where, with friendship,
Yeah. Yeah.
colleagues,
Yeah.
and dating, being in all relationships that require balance.
I feel like relationships in general, relationships, friendships, it shouldn't be hard. When those relationships or friendships feel like they're hard, that's where it's like, okay, clearly I'm the one that's putting in a lot of this effort, because you start tiring yourself out because you're
Mhm.
doing everything. When things seem like it's flowing easy, that's where I'm like, okay, this is alignment. I don't,
Mhm.
for example, when it comes to my friends, we may not talk every single day,
Absolutely.
but when we do talk, we don't have to count, okay, I've reached out to Maddie, or I've reached out to Nye
Mhm.
5 times this week and she hasn't reached out to me. It's a reciprocation. I call her, she may call me. I'll text her, she may text me. I may not hear from her this month, but I know the next month I might hear from her. But once it starts getting to a point where it's like, I'm the one that's constantly paying for things, I'm the one that's constantly reaching out, I'm the one that's actually putting in effort. And when I'm showing you, hey, this is hurting my feelings when you don't do this, and you
Mhm.
just like, girl, I don't know what you're talking about, whatever. That's where I'm like, okay, the alignment is not there, because it's feeling difficult, and
Mhm.
I'm feeling tired, and I
Mhm.
shouldn't feel like that, because I know what it feels like in relationships and friendships where it just flows easy.
Mhm. It's funny while you were talking, I was thinking that once I realized, like, over the years with certain relationships that I had, when I stopped reaching out,
Mm-hmm.
they disappear,
Yeah.
which kind of confirms, like, hey, you've been the one carrying a relationship.
Yeah.
I have one friend, and we've been friends for 20 plus years. And when I could tell you, we could go a whole year
Mm-hmm.
without talking to each other. But one of us is gonna send a text, reach out, even through hey
On
girl,
social media or
how you
something.
been? When I need something, for sure she's gonna show up, and I'm gonna do the same for her. That's just the dynamic. Do I know everything about her life? No. Do I know every single personal thing? No. But I know that she cares about me. I know
Right.
that
Right.
I care about her. You know, and then I have other friends where we don't talk every day. Well, we text each other once. Hey girl, I'm thinking about you. Somewhere I'm always reaching out. I'm always trying. I'm always trying. And they just fading away.
Yeah.
I am so peaceful now.
Yeah. That's good.
Because the peace comes from when you start to gain clarity. When that wisdom start setting in. Like, stop chasing. Sometimes we hold on and chase things and want um, people and things that's not even supposed to be in our life. Sometimes you can end up, and I hate to say this, bringing on a bad domestic violence relationship or
Yeah.
losing your life because you just gotta have that person that have the money or have this and that,
Yeah.
when God probably didn't even never intend for you to be that,
Yeah.
because of the flesh wants what it wants. That's why we gotta pray. We gotta be in the Word of God, and we have to have discernment when it comes to dating.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah.
All right, and our last question: if you trust yourself to get it right 99% of the time, why why expect another person to get it perfect? Now, before you answer,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta read something
Yes,
that
please,
I have.
please.
I have this saying: I trust my husband 99% because that 1% he can get me wrong. I say that to say you don't trust nobody but God.
Yeah, for
100%.
sure.
It's always that 1% where people,
We're human.
yeah, we could get it. We can get it wrong. Then I said. Then I continue to say. So what I'm trying to say is that I have learned to apply this principle with everything in life. Everything is relationship, friend, family, colleagues. How much are they reciprocating? Are they takers? That's how we tie this into dating. Am I always being the one, like you said, paying for the? It's okay too for women to treat the man. Do you think so?
I'm a trick. Sorry.
You a what?
A trick. I like tricking. Is that a? That's not a bad word. That's not a bad word. No, that's not a bad word. It's like
Diamond.
I like paying for stuff. That's what they. That's what the young kids call it. It ain't tricking if you got it. They be saying, sorry.
Diamond. What?
You can't trust people 99%. 1%. This that 1%. I'm sorry. That just came out. Sorry.
It's okay. You just caught me so off guard.
That's not a bad.
I wasn't
I
ready.
mean, like, I like to spend money. I do.
Hey.
But when it's spent on me too.
Okay. Okay.
So when it's spent on me, or and even not even just when it's spent on me, when you're showing kindness, love,
right.
all of that.
I'm
I don't
sorry.
mind
I'm
money.
stuck.
What? No, y'all know what I'm talking about.
All right. Last question. If you only trust yourself to get it right 99% of the time, why expect another person to be perfect?
You can't. No one's perfect. We're not human, like you said earlier. The only person that you should have 100% trust in and to know is 100% perfect is God.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Yep. So there you have it. Let me just leave you with an affirmation. I choose clarity over confusion, reciprocation over survival, self awareness over settling. I know who I am, and I will not strain for relationships that cannot match me. As always, thank you for watching. Follow me on my Instagram at Cheryl Season Talk, and you can follow Diamond on.
Yes, you can follow me at I Care the number 4 nurses. That's I Care number 4 nurses.
All right. As always, stay blessed, stay fabulous, and have a wonderful week.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you so much for having me, Shirley.
Of course.